Why did this man throw away the Quran? And what happened to him afterward will shock you. This is a true story from a village where a man named Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh lived. He was a very poor man. He had no parents or siblings. He was a very kind and religious person. Because he didn't have his own home, he lived in the mosque day and night. In the morning, he would clean the entire mosque himself. Everyone in the neighborhood knew about his poverty, so they would send food for him from their homes. This continued for many years. One day, the mosque's imam called Fazal Bakhsh to him and asked, "Why don't I arrange your marriage?" Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh smiled at the imam's words and said, "Sir, who would marry a poor man like me?" The imam said, "Leave all this to me, just say yes or no." Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh replied, "If you know of a girl who would accept me, then what objection could I have?" Then the imam told him that he had a relative who was a girl, and he would arrange his marriage with her by the next Friday. Before that, the imam said, "You will have to find a house for rent where you and your wife can live peacefully. And don't worry about the rent. Leave all that to me." Bakhsh found a house for rent, but he had no money for the wedding preparations. One day before his marriage, Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh went to the imam and said, "Sir, I have found a house for rent, but I don't have anything for the wedding expenses." The imam said, "Son, don't worry. Just be ready for the wedding in the morning." As soon as the sun of Friday morning rose, the Maulvi, Islamic scholar, announced in the mosque, "If anyone has anything to give in the way of Allah, whether it's clothes, utensils, or money, they should come to the mosque." Many people brought things from their homes to the mosque. All the belongings were sent to Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh's house. After the Zuhr afternoon prayer, the imam performed Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh's nikah, marriage ceremony, very simply and sent the couple to the rented house. Bakhsh's wife was a very righteous woman. She never made any demands of her husband. She prayed her namaz, prayers, and was always grateful to Allah. Even after being married, Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh continued to clean the mosque every day and offer his prayers. After cleaning the mosque, he would leave the house every day in search of work, and his wife would constantly pray to Allah to provide a means of livelihood for her husband. While searching for work, Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh reached a gathering of Allah Wale, saints or righteous people. Many people were gathered there, bringing their troubles to them. These saints would pray to Allah for them, and Allah would remove all their difficulties. And the greatest thing was that very delicious food was prepared there. Because of that food, Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh got a job there, which was to distribute food to the poor. Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh himself would distribute the food with his own hands. The saints would give him money for distributing food to the poor. Whatever food was left over, he would take it home for himself and his wife, and in this way, his household situation started to change. 1 year after his marriage, Allah blessed him with a very beautiful daughter. Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh and his wife were very happy that Allah had blessed them with His mercy. They doted on their daughter and took great care of her. 1 year after his daughter was born, Allah blessed them with a second daughter. Her husband was again happy that Allah had blessed him with another child with His mercy. After this, his wife said, "I wish Allah would bless me with a son next time." Her husband smiled and said, "Don't you know that Allah gives daughters where He is happy?" "Yes, I know," she replied, "but it is very important for sisters to have a brother. Now just ask your saintly friend to pray for us that Allah bless us with a son next time." He smiled at his wife's words and went back to work. After a few months, his wife became pregnant again. She prayed to the saintly man and also prayed fervently herself, "Oh Allah, bless me with this blessing this time." But Allah blessed her with a third daughter. At the birth of the third daughter, she became very worried and said to her husband, "Now take me to the court of the saintly man. I will tell him my problem myself, and he will pray for me." Her husband said, "No, you pray at home. I will tell him your problem myself." When 1 year passed, Allah blessed them with a fourth daughter. At the birth of the fourth daughter, his wife cried a lot in front of her husband and said, "We are already poor. I don't know why Allah is giving us daughters." Her husband said, "You are a very grateful person yourself. Such words do not sound good from your mouth. You yourself say that where Allah gives birth to daughters, He also sends their sustenance. After that, his wife said, "Still, my heart wants Allah to bless me with a son." 1 year later, Allah blessed her with a fifth daughter. At the birth of the fifth daughter, she cried a lot and pleaded with Allah, "O Allah, I am not being ungrateful to you. I am content with all your decisions. But it is very important for sisters to have a brother. For the sake of your beloved, for the sake of Bibi Fatima, bless me with a son." She prayed and cried a lot in front of Allah. After that, she went with her husband to the saintly man and cried a lot, saying, "You are a friend of Allah. Your prayers are surely accepted. Please raise your hands and pray for me just once. May Allah bless us with a son." But whatever Allah had willed, Allah blessed her with a sixth daughter. She continued to pray, and 10 years passed, and she had 7 daughters. At the birth of the 7th daughter, even her husband's eyes were filled with tears. With tears in his eyes, he looked up at the sky and thanked Allah. "O Allah, there is some good in every action of yours. O Allah, I have never complained to you because you are Rahman, the most gracious, and Rahim, the most merciful. You understand without being told. I have no brother or father. If I don't have my own son, how will I live? Sons are the arms of a father." He cried and pleaded so much in front of Allah that his little daughters also started crying and praying with their small hands, "O Allah, we sisters also want a brother to play with." After that, his husband went to the court of the saintly man after eating his morning meal. When his shift was over, he sat down at the court. As soon as the crowd of people from the court decreased, Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh went to the saintly man and asked, "O friend of Allah, people come to you from far and wide with their troubles. Are their troubles removed? Are their wishes fulfilled?" The saintly man said, "Son, people pray in front of you from morning to evening, and Allah surely accepts their prayers. Their wishes are surely fulfilled. That's why people come from far and wide to pray here. And I am a servant of Allah. I only worship Him. When Allah accepts my prayers, I thank Allah." After hearing this, Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh said, "I have been working with you for 10 years and have been asking for the same prayer that Allah bless me with a son. But I am still deprived of the blessing of a son." The saintly man said, "Son, this time Allah will surely bless you with a son, but you will have to do some work, and it is very important to do this work. When Allah is pleased, He will surely give you whatever you ask for with all your heart." The saintly man said, "You have to protect the Quran Majid, Holy Quran. Allah will bless you with a beautiful son next year." Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh, after hearing the saintly man's words, said, "We protect the Quran Majid very much and recite this book morning and evening." The saintly man smiled after hearing Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh's words and said, "Son, I know you protect the Quran and recite it morning and evening, which is the duty of every Muslim. But I will tell you how to protect it. If you fulfill what I tell you, I promise you, Allah will bless you with a moon-like son next year and will enrich you with every blessing of the world. For this, you will have to take a leave from my court for 1 year and dig a big pit in a deserted area outside the village. From morning to evening, you will have to knock on people's doors and ask if they have any Shahid Sipare, martyred or desecrated parts of the Quran or other Islamic religious books, in their homes. People often throw away or place these books in places where they are disrespected. You have to go to people's homes and ask them to give you any such parts or Quranic texts they may have. After collecting all of them, you have to bury them in that pit so that the Quran is not disrespected." As per the saintly man's instructions, he started digging a pit in a deserted area outside the village, which he completed in 2 days. After that, he started going to people's homes to ask for desecrated parts of the Quran. From morning to evening, he was busy with this work. In addition to people's homes, he also collected the names of Allah, religious books, and other Islamic texts from the streets of the neighborhood and from dirty garbage dumps. He would then wash them with clean water. He would collect everything and put it in that pit. He went to all the nearby villages and collected all the desecrated parts of the Quran, prayer books, and other Islamic religious books. And in the evening, he would put it all in that pit. When 1 year passed doing this work, Allah blessed him with 2 twin sons. When he had 2 twin sons, His happiness knew no bounds. To share this happy news, he first went to the court of the saintly man and, upon arriving, cried with joy at his feet. The saintly man first thought that Allah had perhaps blessed him with another daughter, and that's why he was crying. Meanwhile, he said, "Today, by your prayers, Allah has blessed me with 2 twin sons, whom I have named Qasim and Asim. Even though I am very poor, ask me for whatever you want. I will fulfill your every wish." The saintly man smiled at his words and said, "We saints have no concern for anything of this world except for Allah and His Messenger and His worship. We are happy with this. I will give you only one piece of advice. Never leave this work and make sure your sons also do this work. Leave all the other work to Allah." After hearing the saintly man's words, he came home. He saw that his wife's and daughter's faces were beaming with happiness. He told his wife, "Today, Allah has blessed me with the greatest happiness of my life. Therefore, I want to do something unique with this happiness so that both my Allah and the people of the world are happy." Hearing this, his wife said, "What kind of unique work will you do that will make both Allah and the people happy?" He said, "I want to give a copy of the Quran Majid to every house in the village because it is because of this Quran that Allah has blessed me with such a great blessing." His wife was very happy to hear her husband's words and said, "Yes, this will make both our Allah and the people very happy." The very next day, he ordered copies of the Quran Majid and distributed them to all the houses in the village. All the villagers liked this deed of his very much. All the people accepted the Quran with great love and affection. As soon as his sons turned 7, he enrolled them in a madrasa, Islamic school, to recite the Quran Majid. He also taught his daughters religious and worldly education. Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh spent about 20 years protecting the Quran. After 20 years, he got all his daughters married into good and respectable families. He thanked Allah very much that his daughters had gone to their homes with respect. Both of his sons had memorized the Quran. One son built a small madrasa in his village and taught the Quran to all the boys of the village there. The other son was busy with his father in protecting the Quran. One day, his second son said to his father, "Father, I want to go to another country and work hard to earn a lot of money. And with that money, build a very big madrasa for my brother where people from other villages can also come and get an education." His father said, "Son, I have asked Allah for you with a lot of prayers, so I don't want to ever keep my son away from my eyes. I am grateful for what Allah has given me." The son said, "Father, you have asked for me with so many prayers, so trust in the same one and give me permission to go to a foreign country. You and brother Asim will manage the work here. Don't worry about me." "Okay, son, as you wish," said Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh, agreeing to his son's wish. "But how will you go to a foreign country?" "Father, don't you worry about that. Leave all this to me. I am not going alone. 3 or 4 other boys from the village are also going with me." In about a month, Qasim had made all the preparations to go to a foreign country. As the time for Qasim to go to a foreign country drew near, his parents became sad because he was to leave in 2 days. His mother would pray for her son all the time that Allah would keep her son safe. Muhammad Fazal Bakhsh himself was worried, but in front of his wife he would bravely say, "Allah has blessed us with 2 lions, so trust in Allah and leave everything to Him." As soon as the time to go to the airport came 2 days later, Qasim and his parents and brother all left to drop him off at the airport. At the airport, Qasim's mother, father, and brother all bid him a loving farewell. Qasim's mother hugged her son and said, "I have brought a very precious thing of this world for you." It was a beautiful Quran Majid wrapped in a rose. She handed it to her son and said, "Son, whenever you face any difficulty, open it and read it, and remember your Allah." The son smiled and said, "Mother, you know I am a Hafiz of the Quran. The complete Quran is hidden in my heart." "Of course, son, I know you are a Hafiz of the Quran, but I still want you to take it with you and read it there. Also, make others read it." The son took the Quran from his mother's hands and went and sat on the flight with his friends. 2 days later, the flight arrived in Italy. Qasim and his friends didn't have to worry much about finding work. Very soon, they found work and a place to live in Italy. But the problem was that the boss of the factory where Qasim and his friends worked was a non-Muslim man. Hindus, Muslims, and non-Muslims all worked together there. The owner of that factory was a very rich and high-class man. He had more than a lakh of employees working in his factory. He had installed cameras everywhere in his factory so that no work could be hidden from him. He kept an eye on his employees 24 hours a day because everything was recorded on his cameras. His boss was very strict about his rules. If any employee went against his rules, he would reduce their salary by half. Apart from Sunday, the employees worked day and night in his factory. The employees who worked for 12 hours at night would rest for 12 hours in the morning, and the morning employees would work for 12 hours at night. His friends worked in the factory in the morning. Along with his work, Qasim would also offer his 5 daily prayers in congregation. Qasim would wake up 2 hours before going to work in the morning. During those 2 hours, he would recite the Quran Majid loudly every day. Because of his recitation, all the Muslim employees who worked there were very happy with him, because Allah had given him such a beautiful voice that whenever he recited the Quran Majid, his voice would become even more beautiful. Every Muslim brother would listen to his recitation with attention. Even the non-Muslim employees were drawn to his voice. After reciting the Quran, Qasim would give a lesson on Islam to all the employees sitting there. The words of Qasim started to have an effect on the hearts of the boys living with him. As soon as the call to prayer was made, Qasim would leave all his factory work and go for prayer. And on his way, he would also ask other boys to go for prayer. Seeing Qasim, even more boys would go with him to pray. When the factory boss found out about this, he called Qasim to him and said, "You know my rules. I have never let anyone go against my orders. You come late for work in the morning, and because of you, other boys also get late by looking at you. On top of that, you leave every work and go for prayer. I will give you your full salary this month, but if this continues next month, I will cut your salary in half." Qasim listened to his boss's words quietly without giving any reply. The boss's words had no effect on Qasim's attitude. He would wake up 2 hours before going to work in the morning just like before. He would recite the Quran every day. He would give a lesson on religion to all the boys in his room. At the time of prayer, he would immediately leave all his work and offer his prayers. When the factory boss found out that his words had no effect on Qasim, he cut his salary by half the next month. The boss thought, "Now he will come to his senses. I will see how much he prays and reads the Quran." When Qasim found out that his boss had cut his salary in half, it had no effect on him. He worked just as before. He prayed all the time. In fact, his actions started to have an effect on the other people in the factory. All the Muslim boys who were there would immediately leave their work and go with Qasim to pray. When the factory boss found out about this, he became very angry. So the boss called all the boys who were with Qasim and said strictly, "I think I will have to stop all of your salaries. Only then will you people improve and take work seriously." All the boys with Qasim said to their boss, "Boss, don't be so cruel to us. If you say that we should not leave work for prayer, then we will not go, but we want our full salary." Qasim listened to all of them quietly. Then the boss asked Qasim, "What do you think about this?" Qasim said to his boss in a gentle tone, "You can cut my salary by half, but I can never give up prayer and the recitation of the Quran for my work, because this is your rule that if someone leaves their work for some other work, you give them half the salary. But sir, this is also our rule that if someone goes against the command of Allah, then our Allah also has a very severe punishment for that person. Forgive me, but I can never do this work." The boss said, "You are a very stubborn person." After that, Qasim said, "Boss, I accept your half salary, but I can never accept giving up prayer." The boss said in a stern tone, "Okay, I'll see how long you don't go against the command of your Allah. One day you will surely leave this work." The boys with Qasim were very ashamed to hear this. They also decided in their hearts that no matter what, they would also go with Qasim to pray. The next day, when Qasim was about to go for prayer, even more boys were ready to go with him than before. When Qasim's boss found out about this, he said nothing, but he just cut the salary of all those boys by half. The atmosphere of that factory had changed a lot because of Qasim. When the boss found out about this, he became livid with anger. The boss decided that Qasim would not be spared today. I will finish him today. That's enough. I have tolerated a lot. He has come to my factory and is acting like the owner of my employees. The son of the morning will be Qasim's last son. It was a Friday, and it was morning. Qasim opened the Quran and was reciting the Quran Majid in a very loud voice. His boss came and kicked Qasim hard in the face, knocking him down, and snatched the Quran Majid from his hand and threw it on the ground. Qasim still did not stop reciting the Quran, because he had memorized the entire Quran by heart. His boss got so angry that he told an employee standing next to him, "Go and quickly bring me matches. Today, I will burn his Quran right in front of him. Now I will see what he does and what his Allah does." Qasim started crying a lot after hearing this and started pleading with Allah. "Oh Allah, he thinks of himself as a very big person. Today, you show him your power." As soon as his employee brought the matches, he lit a match and started setting the Quran Majid on fire. He tore the Quran and threw it away. He then caught Qasim and imprisoned him in a cage and said, "Now I will see who comes to save you from here. You will die of hunger and thirst here." When the boss was going back to his house from there, he suddenly fell ill on the way. He started having trouble breathing, so he was taken to the hospital. There, various tests were done on him, but no disease was found. His condition was getting worse. His body started to tear in places. Blood started to ooze out like someone had made deep wounds. The man was screaming in pain, but the doctors were just sitting with their hands on their hands, watching his fate because no one could diagnose the disease. Slowly, blood started to boil and come out of his eyes. His eyes became completely red, and blood started flowing from many parts of his body. He would scream and yell in pain so much that he would raise the entire hospital. But the wrath of God was upon him. Many people went to him and said, "You should ask Allah for forgiveness for your sins. He will forgive you. The disrespect you have done is extremely serious. This is the punishment for it that is coming upon you." But that non-Muslim boss did not listen to anyone. Before long, a strange fluid started flowing from the wounds on his body. It had such a bad smell that even the doctors felt nauseous just by standing near him. As soon as this news reached his employees in the factory and the other people there, people started to hate him. He was writhing for death every moment. He even told the doctors, "Give me a poison injection and kill me. I can't bear this death." But the doctors were trying their best to save him. Slowly, hair started to grow from his body, and long nails came out. His face started to deform, and he turned into a terrifying animal. Seeing him, all the doctors standing there ran out of the hospital. Everyone who saw him got goosebumps. Every person who saw that man in the form of an animal would run away from him. Qasim's friends broke the cage and took Qasim out. And the Quran Majid that he had set on fire was safe and sound. And that animal man was imprisoned in the same cage. If you liked this story, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more such videos.